This week we got Robbie Leaks of Leaks Fitness, born and raised in Howell. He's got a wonderful fitness facility in town, young new business owner, young father, trying to find the balance that me and Pete are also looking for. Beyond that, Robbie's also super accomplished as of late. Just completed the New York City Marathon in 4 hours and 21 seconds. 4 hours, 21 minutes.
20 minutes.
Just did a 5K this weekend that I was lucky enough to be part of. The kid is out here, a stud fitness guru. I owe him a lot, just in personal growth and development, not only physically, but as well as mentally. I've said a few times, I'd come here, I talk to Pete, and it's like a therapy session. But when I go with Robbie, we also have some great chats about parenting, our wives, business, and again, finding that balance. And I don't know if he realizes how much he's impacted me mentally, not only physically. And I hope you do know that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to give you a chance to introduce yourself beyond my introduction.
Yes, sir. My name is Robert Leaks III. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother. I'm also part of Monmouth County's #1 training facility. I train athletes and those who want to look, feel, and move like an athlete.
Yep.
All right.
I've gotten to experience it firsthand. The first intro I had with Leaks was with the 7U at the time football team, and we would go over there Monday nights, and some of the younger guys would be running the show in there, and right away I could just feel the vibe. And the younger coach, I'm not sure what his name is. I'm sure you have a few, but
Coach Manning.
I'm a watcher. I'm an observer. I'm a listener. So when they first started going in there, I was just like, you know what? He's got this thing under control. Like, I knew right away. But I was kind of hanging around the door because I know these kids are 7-year-old maniacs. But he quickly put them right in place, got them working out real hard. They were there every Monday for I think 9 weeks. They all got great benefits out of it. Myself and James Tuasto used to run the parking lot for the whole time. So because I'm so used to being with the kids all the time, like I wasn't going to sit in the car. James wanted to go run, so we would just run laps.
And you're kind of leading by example doing that.
Yeah,
they're inside working, you're outside working. I mean, not that Robbie's the only fitness guru in here. I mean, Pete, you have perfected the anti-dad bod.
Anti-dad bod.
Hardest working guy I know. I mean, you could call Pete on a whim and be like, not that I ever have, but I know people that have. Let's run 10 miles. This guy could be in his car on his way to a meeting or just finished a meeting and be like, yeah, I'll meet you in 20 minutes.
I was just talking to Lonnie. He was on his way to the reservoir just now.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't cancel the podcast.
I know.
Should next year though.
100%. 100%.
What was that like?
Mm-hmm.
Different, crazy. Atmosphere was crazy. The vibes were high. So I set out initial goal was 4 hours. I wanted to finish under 4 hours. I had a complete plan. I wanted to start off by 9:15 pace. For the first 10 miles, last 10 miles, I wanted to be around 9-minute pace. Then the last 6, I wanted to speed it up, be around 8:30, 8:45 pace. I looked at my watch after the first mile over the Verrazano Bridge.
That's wishful thinking.
No. We had it. After the first mile, I looked at my watch. I'm in an 8-minute pace.
Ooh.
Started off way too fast.
That'll happen.
But I felt good. I kept going for about 15 miles.
You kept the same pace?
Kept around the same pace. I think between 8 and 9, right? Around mile 15, I think it was 14 through 16, climbing the Queensboro Bridge. And that was a struggle. I think I was around mile 15, started cramping up, big Charlie horse in my leg.
Ooh.
And it went downhill from there. I chugged the salt packet, had a banana. I hate bananas. I'm allergic to bananas.
Oh, dang.
But no, I'm not really allergic to them.
Just hate them with a pain.
I hate the smell of them, I hate the taste of them, but I had to keep going.
Yeah.
So had that. About a half a mile in, I started running again, felt good, cramped up again. Cramped up the whole, I think it was 11 miles left, cramped up the whole way. Finished, but... So I think we might have to do it again. I don't know, but
is it something you would want to do again?
I don't want to do the training again.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. I was going to ask: is the toughness of the marathon more physical or more mental in your mind?
The actual race, because I cramped up, it was a struggle. It was mentally.
Yeah.
But I know that I pushed myself And I didn't have anything left of me when I crossed that finish line.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Maybe you
So-
could have improved by just sticking to your original
Yeah,
plan.
I didn't stick with my plan. I'm gonna say that's what happened with everything. My fuel was great, rest was great. I think I just pushed myself too much in the beginning.
Yeah, dude, and that's very hard to control. Like, I have a lot of like 5Ks and 5 miles under my belts. I did one marathon with a guy who had cerebral palsy. I was his
Which is an incredible story if you ever choose to elaborate
Well,
on that.
I was his personal aide. He did marathons in the past. When you have cerebral palsy, he had like a racing chair with 2 wheels on the side, 1 in the back, and he would use his left foot, which I have his name tattooed on my left foot now. But he would do the marathons like that. And we were in Providence, and there was a lot of hills, and it was raining, and he had a lot of like physical ailments and different things. His hip was all jacked up, and so basically, like, we had the intentions of like me just walking with the rope.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fine. So we like partied the whole night before. And that was right after wrestling season. So I wasn't in solid endurance shape, but I wasn't in like marathon shape. But I was able to mentally tough it out and do it. You know, I don't even remember our time. It took us a long time. We started, the handicap people go first, you know, and then like by the time we finished, they were all clearing up the race and whatnot. But what I was gonna say is, some of these 5 miles, like Spring Lake 5 Mile, is a hype day. Like, I love that day. You have to get your tickets at like 5:30 in the morning, like 6 months prior, whatever it is, and it's a super hype day. But like, my training times would be, say, I don't know, 7-8 minute miles, just making sure I'm logging them on the daily. Dude, I show up that day and like my first mile is like low 6s, and I'm like, can't keep up with these guys.
Adrenaline's running.
Yeah, the adrenaline, that hypeness, that excitedness, it's so hard to tone all that back on a sustainable 26.2. So I don't blame you for coming out of the gate.
I tell you,
man.
mile 1, everybody's screaming, everybody's loud. Mile 15, I'm on that bridge, it's quiet. Nobody's talking.
Yeah.
That's where that mental toughness comes in,
yeah.
though.
Sure.
So I don't know if you noticed this and I know you've been in leaks. There's a sign that says "can't" means "won't," and there's a million times that I want to stop doing something.
Yeah.
38 years old. I don't really believe anybody should be telling me what to do.
Yeah.
This guy tells me what to do, and I look at this thing and it says "can't" means "won't," and I say that to my kids now. The philosophy, or that whole mental toughness, really pushes you, because I mean, I think you've said it. You don't realize how much more the body can endure. We discussed that, I think, with Dave last week. We're set up to limit ourselves, to save ourselves, and we discussed it yesterday about my heart rate. I mean, we're going hard, and I think my heart rate maxed out at like 127, and you were like, that just means you're not giving it enough. I mean, I feel like I'm giving it all I got, and he's like, bro, we gotta pick it up.
You got more in you.
Now, how are you monitoring that?
I have a
watch,
Garmin
or-
S70 watch
Garmin,
that I
yeah.
don't have on now
Come on
because it's
now.
at home charging.
Okay.
Because it died overnight.
Okay, now Robbie, do you rock that every day?
Yeah, every day.
And like, what is it in particular on there that you like to track or monitor, or a few things?
Me personally, right now, nothing. I'm done with the marathon.
Yeah.
But during the marathon, I was tracking my heart rate, tracking my pace, tracking time. Right now, it's just on my watch. I mean, it's just on my wrist. So.
Yeah. So last year I got a Garmin. I always talk about last year being really a tough mental state for me, and so I ended up getting a watch specific to see my stress levels. Like, somehow, some way, it'll say like, you're stressed. And I started peeling back my day a little bit, and I started figuring out these areas and talking to my wife about these areas that I knew I was feeling like overwhelmed and stressed. And it was kind of when I was done with work, home with the kids, house is going crazy, and I'm trying to work at the exact same time. Like, I knew in my gut that I wasn't feeling right. Sure enough, dude, that thing would go off and it'd say, you're stressed. So like, I couldn't believe that. But the other side of that was steps. So I'm like I walk, I guess, a lot on the phone. Like, I could be on the phone
You're
for
always
an hour.
moving.
Yeah, like always moving nonstop. So there were a few times that I would look at that thing, and I had no driver's license because of the seizure. So I was walking like to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
I would walk a lot, and I was kind of running on the phone, doing all these things, going to wrestling practice. Some days I would look 32,000 steps.
Wild.
And then I'm like, I'll go to like Google, and I'm like, 32,000 steps equals how many miles? And I'm like, dang. I'm putting in these miles on the phone with people and just walking to Dunkin' Donuts.
But you found peace in that too, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember when all that happened, you were walking because you didn't have a car. But I remember picking you up sometimes, and we would chat at length, and you found a way to clear your mind. Now,
it was great.
if I'm not mistaken, you also slowed down with some running and were walking a little bit more to slow your mind down maybe a little bit. But
slow everything down.
I mean, now, that's funny you say that. Do you think all of your training, mentally, how did that wear on you? Because he did the opposite. He was running, slowed everything down. Now you're in great shape and train every day. Now the opposite of Pete, you kicked it up. Did that affect your mental state at all?
I would say it was difficult as far as some days, my long run days, I'm spending 3 to 4 hours running.
Yeah.
Right. So now, not only am just like we're not talking about business right now, but I have the business. Right. I'm also a new father. Also have to ramp up with the training. So it's a lot going on in one day. And
You forgot a husband as well.
Oh, okay, you're right.
I'm just saying, I know your wife.
Right. Sorry, Jasmine.
And I know she's super supportive of you.
100%.
So let's not forget,
Yeah.
know, you can't, with all that you were doing, you're trying to be a dad, you're also trying to be a husband,
100%.
too.
Yeah.
And it's a whole lot at once, right? So it's definitely mentally, right? It's difficult, right? But I would say that once the marathon was over, like you just touched on, I'm doing a lot of walking. Like I'm finished up with a client in Asbury. I'm walking to the beach. I haven't ran too much in the past 2 weeks since the marathon. Right, so I've been doing a lot of walking, doing a lot of grounding. My lifting that I've been doing, I've been keeping it real light, just focus on mobility. So I haven't been going crazy with everything. Yeah, kind of
So
just taking
you're
a step back.
finding, like he did, walking and slowing things down post training mellows you down and gets you a little bit more mentally stable to deal with your day-to-day struggles. I mean, I remember having a baby at home, being in business, and not really being able to connect so much because my priorities, I'm not going to say were jacked up, but at the time it was the priorities I needed. I, A, needed to make sure I could feed this kid.
Yeah.
B, I couldn't fail because I needed to make sure this kid had a roof over his head, as well as my wife. So you're dealing with all that and took on running the New York City Marathon.
Yeah. I tell everybody too. So the hardest part isn't during the race. That was the easy part. I got to race day. That's the easy thing. I had some cramping that I had to deal with, but the whole training process, that was the hardest part. Like I said, I'm spending 3 hours a day just running by myself. It's lonely. It's hard. It's difficult.
And you start your days early.
Yeah. Some days I'm in the gym at 4 a.m. And I don't get home until about 10 o'clock at night.
Petey could kind of relate to that, right? I mean, you start your days pretty early, and the first thing you do in the morning, you were going for a run while, I forget the young man's name, was riding his bike.
Oh, Dev.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, we were doing that for a while. My thing is I'm either all in or all out. So like summertime was great with that stuff. As we got into fall, school started, I got the bus stop. My morning routine kind of switched up a little bit, which, like we were talking about last week, kind of has a trickle down on my kids because I haven't been finding that time for myself on the daily every morning to make sure I start the day calm. I was doing plunges every day at that time. It's easy to plunge when it's 100 degrees out, especially when your motor's running, you're already hot. My wife was home all summer, so that made it a little bit easier. Now I have to recreate that window, but for me it's a balancing act between my bedtime and my wake up time, and what I've been doing is staying up later again. I told you that like 8 weeks ago.
We had that exact conversation.
Yeah, that was how everything started.
But now are you staying up because you're stressed?
No, not really.
Just staying up.
Yeah, like last night we had practice, and practice gives me a second wind. We got back from practice, started doing homework, had dinner, everybody went to bed, and it was the first time all day that I kind of had a little bit of calm, quiet,
but you're
and
leaving
peace.
practice all energized.
Yeah, all energized up, dude. We had the parents meeting. I'm all hyped with the parents. I talked way too much there.
Just
I asked
being
like
P.
3
Reilly.
different people if I talked too much at the parents meeting, but I wanted to like educate the parents on like, hey, like there is a way that you guys could either do good for your kid in wrestling, or you could subconsciously plant these seeds of doubt. So I kind of wanted to school them a little bit, and then I sprinted right out of the parents meeting, right back into practice. But yeah, when my motor runs at night, and that was kind of why I hit the brakes a little bit on some of the running, because because I was going to ask you about your nutrition and sleep and diet and all those different things. But I was burning the candle at both ends again when I was running at night.
That's why I don't run.
The night was my window. So I would do like 7 miles at night. That would give me an energy boost. I get like runner's high. I don't know if you ever, you know.
After 5
I think
miles.
I'm weird with that.
No. I want to say mile 1 to 2, I was good. After that, I blacked out until I cramped up. So if you call that runner's high, I guess that's runner's high.
But what about in your training and stuff? Did you ever get this thing that just took over your whole body where you're just like...
Sometimes. Like you mean like you're just floating, like you're just moving, right? Like you're not even thinking about it.
Your thoughts are right. You know,
clear.
You're moving right. Like your endorphins are flowing.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with everybody. I do not like running. I don't enjoy running. I got into this to challenge myself.
Okay.
3 to 5 miles, that's my max.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good workout for me. It's a good challenge. It's a good, like you said, it takes thoughts out. Right. Anything over 5 miles, it's not for me.
Yeah.
All right.
I did 26 too.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. I'm like 5 miles. I don't want to walk 5 feet. This guy was talking about running 5 miles.
So like I said, my thing was to challenge myself. Right. Yeah. That's why I did the marathon. Challenge myself. I fundraised some money for it also.
Awesome.
But it was a step out of my comfort zone. I never, 2 years ago, believe it or not, right? I think we did this is our 3rd annual 5K that we did, fundraiser that we did, right? Past week that we just did. So 3 years ago, right? I've never ran over 2 miles. Ever. College football, we did recovery day. Sundays, we ran maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles. Never ran over 2 miles, right? I said, you know what? We're going to do a 5K fundraiser for Meet the Need. We did that. That was my first 5K. Right. I was like, you know what, this isn't enough. Let me do a half marathon. Did a half marathon, did another one my brother joined me with. Nah, this isn't enough. Let me challenge myself, let me do a full marathon.
Yeah, but then he's kind of right. He has to be a little right. You kind of fed off that. There was something there, whether it was that runner's high, there was something about it that kept you coming back.
I think what kept him coming back
it.
was trying to get past these mental barriers.
Yeah, but think about that.
He's like, all right, I did that.
Yeah, what's next?
Because what I was thinking is, what's next? Could be one of those ultras.
No,
Could
I'm
be
not
one of
doing
them
it.
Ironmans.
I'm telling you
bro.
right now,
That's
I'm
where
not
it
doing
starts
it.
getting
I'm
crazy.
not doing it.
I know. I have to tread lightly with a lot of things. I don't want to sound like a biatch, but you know, number one, logging 3 hours a day with all the responsibility that you have, that in itself is hard. You know?
How did that wear on Jasmine?
You're gonna get me in trouble on this podcast.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean just like with her levels of support for you. I know they were high. Obviously, I see your wife all the time. I saw her on Saturday at a great event. But I know having a baby at home is tough.
It's hard.
And now you throw yourself into training and your already aggressive workload. That had to wear on her a little bit, and I'm sure that was tough on you, seeing her pick up your slack, for lack of a better term, because you were so goal-driven.
Definitely.
But I know for me, when my wife was picking up my slack, when I was super focused on my career, and I've hit a little bit of a plateau, I guess, because I can focus on my family a little more now. It bothered me.
Yeah.
So, like, I know she picked up some slack for you. How did that affect you?
A lot of slack. Now I think about that daily. I mean, I'm blessed to be in a position that I am. She's picked up a lot from me. Like you said, from business, from the running that I just started doing, a lot more of that. So it's like she does a whole lot, and she is my son's life right now, right? Yeah. So I'm hoping it's definitely gonna happen. We're gonna get to the point where he's gonna need me a lot more also. But right now, my son is with her all the time.
They need their mama right now.
Yeah.
We've had that conversation.
Yeah. Now, how do you kind of work your way into that relationship so far with your son? Because what I used to say to new dads was like, you know, the ladies, obviously, as we know, like they're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Us going in and asking them what they need is not really the answer. So what I would tell new dads all the time is like, find your lane and own that shit. Yeah. So like my first son, Mason, was only bottle fed. So I was easily able to find that with the bottle. So maybe it was like a nighttime thing. It wasn't like 24/7, but I had to like create that window for myself with him. You know, other dads, I'll say, you know, own the diapers. Like, own the diapers. Don't be sitting on the couch knowing darn well that there's a messy diaper and your wife's got to get up and change it. So, like, have you done anything yet that you're kind of finding these windows with the two of you guys together?
I think we're working more as a team right now.
Okay,
I
good.
want to say, like this morning, for example, Wednesday is usually my slower day in the gym. So I'll handle some yard work in the morning, but I like to plan that morning to be with my son more, right? So, like you said, I'll change some diapers. He's old enough now; he's holding the bottle himself, but I'll help out with making the bottles.
There you go.
But I try to incorporate, especially after this running, right? I try to incorporate more of my life with him, right? So I take him to the gym usually on Wednesdays now.
That's awesome.
Right? So he's in the gym a little bit more now. He's with me a lot. Tuesdays and Thursdays are a pretty hectic day for me. So she knows that's the case. I don't usually get home till like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. So this morning she let me sleep in a little bit, right? So she works perfectly with me.
That's
with
awesome.
that.
That's
finding
awesome.
that
Good
blend,
for you guys
that
working
balance.
together like that.
Yeah, because if you don't have a strong system of support at home, trying to do everything that at least I know the three of us are doing, you're trying to just exceed and succeed in your business community. You and me are doing the same. That means putting in hours that nobody else wants to. That means being dedicated when nobody else wants to. And I'm not saying you sacrifice your family, but we talked about it. You kind of do, and you got to realize it and be conscious of it. Now you're young. You're 28, 38, bro. Been there. You're just building your empire. I started a little later in life, and I was a little bit jaded to the fact that I had to work as hard as I did because that's all I knew. So at 28, you're obviously in business for a little bit of time, but I was 5 years more working, grinding it out every day. Now you throw this little kid in my life. I love him. I know I love him. I love my two girls that came after him. But it was work. Work
Yeah,
was
it's not like you could just shut the business off.
Work was my first baby. That was the first thing. You know, me and my brother, when we took over for my dad, we kind of hit the ground running, and we never looked back. Even to this minute, obviously, I'd rather be with my kids. I've made time now to enjoy them when they're older because I can. But at your son's age, I wasn't doing much. I mean, I would hold my kid, we'd cuddle, we'd watch TV, but it was work, bro. That was what it was.
I will say that is the best part right now. Like I said, Wednesday is my later day. Like I take clients usually a little bit later on in the day. Wednesdays are the days that, like this morning I was on my laptop doing some work, and he's crying because he's sleepy. So he starts falling asleep in my lap, and that literally is the best part of my day right there.
That's amazing.
That's it. So I had to put the laptop down, cut him a little bit, but
yeah.
Now, he was at the gym with you Monday, if I'm not mistaken?
Was it Monday too?
Because Mary said she got to see him when she was training with Sydney.
Yeah, it was Monday also. So I'm starting to bring him into the gym a little bit more also.
Perfect.
Starting
That's what I used to
figure
do
it out.
with my oldest guy with wrestling. You know, I bring him to practices, and like we're still doing that stuff together.
Yep.
You know, speaking of Mason, dude, Abby had parent-teacher conferences on Monday night.
Mary's there now.
Oh, really?
I couldn't miss this. She scheduled it and forgot that we were going to be here, and I couldn't change this. And I mean, Max in first grade. How bad could it go?
Right.
But,
What do they have? Half day today then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's at conferences now, and I'm here. I keep looking at my phone for like a random update. But go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No. Always fine. Abby went to parent-teacher conferences. I was at practice on Monday, so I didn't go. I usually try to go, but, she was there. All the teachers are like raving about how good he is. And, oh my gosh, this fills my heart with joy. So his math teacher says to my wife, he really loves his dad. She's like, he talks about your husband all the time. Football, wrestling. And I'm like, oh my God.
But look at how much time you've put into it.
I love you so much. But it's not going to be like this forever, though. That's what I'm super aware of. Like we will be connected, obviously, but there's going to be a point in time, like we talked about in the past, that he's going to want to go to the mall on a Friday night, and he's going to have a girlfriend, and he's going to have all these other things in life that there's going to be like 5 things on his list that he's like, oh yeah, that's cool too, But in the meantime, he's in 3rd grade, so I've noticed a lot of like growth amongst him, like just from 2nd grade to 3rd grade already.
Have you seen the same growth in yourself though? Because as he grows,
I'm still only 5'7", baby. Still waiting for that growth.
As he's growing and he's maturing, you're growing and maturing as a parent.
Yeah, maybe I'm just becoming more aware of some things. Yeah. Maybe it could be a little bit of both. But
because you being more aware of him and what he needs is what makes you the apple of his eye. I mean, listen, you do everything with your kids. You're all about your kids. There's no one that could say you're not. But you got to be cognizant of what he needs, too. And as he grows and matures, you got to grow and mature and pay attention to his wants and needs. And you do a good job of it.
It's true.
Outside looking in, I will tell you I'm envious of how well you parent and adjust to your children.
You know, I appreciate the compliment, but sometimes I wish there was a hidden camera in my house. Like,
be thankful it's not there. At least I know how I would do.
No, I'm almost at the point that I might just either hit Ev up and be like, dude, come over in the morning, or just throw my phone on video and just so you can see what it's really like, bro.
But I know what
Social
it's. I
media
know
might
what
be
it's
painting
like.
a different picture.
Nah, but you say that. I see you in real life, though.
Or maybe it still looks okay, but it doesn't necessarily feel okay because it's overwhelming as shit, especially in the morning.
But that's because you're trying to do it. There's a lot of parents that don't take that time.
Yeah, but like this morning, I was brushing Rowan's hair, so she had like bedhead all over.
I can't comb the girl's hair. They cry. I can't figure out how to do it. Rosie freaks out.
I was hoping Seidenberg had some girls. But he's got 3 boys, so I was hoping that he would have a little bit of input. I wasn't sure how things were with you with the combing the hair and whatnot.
I can't do it.
As of late, okay, so we have this app at preschool where you could see pictures, right? So Abby will like right away see pictures, and she's texting me like she wore that shirt to bed, and I'm like, well, she was giving me a lot of flack about changing it, so
that's what she
we
wore to
just rolled
school.
with it, you know. Or then she'll be like, "Is she wearing somebody else's coat?" I'm like, "Yeah, it wasn't that cold this morning," you know. Or she's like, you know, she'll be like, "Oh, what's up with the hair?" Blah blah blah. So my point is, I'll be like, "Listen, you gotta give me some tips with the hair." So now, like every night, I'm combing her hair. I don't really have a good like ponytail on the top yet. And the way Abby explains it and then does it, and then she's got this little rubber band wrapped around, blah, 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 it looks easy. And then I try to do it, and the rubber band's snapping. I can't get anything right. But I've been, she showed me this technique that it'll hurt if you pull their hair back with the brush. It doesn't hurt if you pinch your finger on one part and then brush it. So, like, I'm learning all these techniques.
Today.
But, dude, before she told me that technique, I go to try to put the brush in her hair and pulls her hair back. She's screaming. And now I'm just, boom, little finger right there. Pull it back.
They make it look so easy, though. Mary
do.
does this thing with Rosie's hair. I don't know. Rosie calls it unicorn hair. It's like she takes a big ponytail in the middle of her head, and it's like almost like a ramp going down her head. So she's got like a little
multiple
bump.
Ponytails?
Yeah, kind of, but like with one strand of hair. So it's like one bump, a bump, a bump. A bump.
Oh, that's way out of my league.
She does it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, I can't even brush her fucking hair.
No, I know.
Well, thank God you're here.
Have you tried any hair strategies yet?
I tried doing ponytails repeatedly.
Yeah.
My method when she's not home to do her hair is we try to comb it or brush it, and then we put a hat on.
I was going to say
I've made her love Max's hats.
Okay.
So
that's an easy solution.
I'm good with it.
Let me ask you, how when Max was months old, right? How'd you dress him?
I wanted him to be fly, bro.
Did you dress him?
I did. I went out.
No, I'm talking about like...
No, but I took pride in that because you got to remember, we weren't supposed to have kids. So for me, that was supposed to be the only kid we were going to have. Here I am with 3. Doctors were wrong. We're here now. But so I looked at him a little different. Now, I love all my kids the same, but I've said it before. He was like a miracle to me. So I went out and I bought all the freshest shit. I knew he was going to wear it for 3 minutes and then outgrow it.
Matching shoes with you.
We had Jordans. I had matching shoes. We had everything.
Yeah.
And when I was home to dress him, I took so much pride in like, oh, my kid's got the Jordans. He's got this cute little sweatsuit thing I bought him. Yeah. We had Jordan beanies. We had it all. And now it's like I look back and I'm like, it's the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like,
so Robbie, why do you ask? What's the fit like with you guys?
Nah, I mean, so I got yelled at the other day because I had him out in his pajamas, but I thought it was a little cute, but I guess not. So that's why.
Okay, so that's why you asked.
No, took him to the gym.
Nah, you're good.
I'm good, right?
You're good, bro.
I thought I was good.
No,
I don't see the problem in that, bro. The ladies don't like it,
Yeah.
but like that shit's comfy.
Yeah.
And he's chilling.
Yeah.
Like, why are you gonna piss him off changing his outfit?
He was happy, right?
Yeah, he was feeling good.
You got him to the gym, mission accomplished.
Had his bottle, he was straight.
But if you're talking about like, I used to take Max on like a lot of adventures. We would go to like the mall or whatever, and do things. if we were going out,
Yeah, but you're talking how
My man's gonna be fresh.
how old is this?
like 7 months up, like whatever, we would go out. But if he was, because he came to work a million times.
Yeah.
I would take him on Saturday mornings with me to work, give her a breather, and I get to spend a little time with him, like you're doing now.
Yeah.
My man left the house in pajamas. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to hang out at Dad's office. You're going to sit in your little thing and rock back and forth or run around in your little walker thing. No one gives a shit what you're wearing. You're a beautiful little boy. That's all anybody's going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, Halloween's been over for what? I don't know. What are we, like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
It was like two weeks ago, I guess.
Yeah.
My middle guy, Carter, he's 3. He's still wearing Spider-Man on the reg. I put it in his backpack today so he could put it on once he gets home. Like, whatever.
Loving life, man.
It's
Just
all
let
good,
them do
man.
their thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
I've kind of, I just let them dress themselves, to be honest now. Like, Josephine has no idea what she's doing. She picks out stuff that's, like, off the wall. And Mare will come home like, what did you do?
I know.
I didn't do it. She did it. She's 2.
Blaming it on the 2-year-old.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Oh, my gosh. So, Robbie, you opened another location in Asbury now?
Yes,
so you
sir.
have 2 locations?
Asbury Park.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what brought you to Asbury?
I like Asbury's vibes. I'm
Yeah.
all about vibes. Wherever we're at, I'm all about the vibes.
I can
Howell
tell.
guy, though.
I could tell. I'm a total
I know,
vibes guy.
I'm still in Howell though.
What
but-
do you think of the vibe at Leaks Howell?
Well, that's what I was going to say,
Here we
right?
go.
So I was telling you guys how the football players used to go in there, and I saw the vibe.
But outside of
then-
the kids being in there,
Well,
like you going in there.
That's what I was going to say. But then I actually felt the vibe, with you guys. And it was awesome. And there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
The times that we were in there together, you were surprised I was tired. I'm like, dude, how could you not be tired?
Yeah, but you're a
we're working out
fitness
hard as hell,
freak, bro.
It doesn't matter, dude.
It's-
It doesn't mean that you don't get tired,
All right, so here's my issue
especially
too.
when you're doing that type of shit.
All right, so marathon, right? Everybody looks at me. I'm a trainer. I should be running this marathon like it's nothing. It
Yeah.
does not. It's not like that.
Nah, bro.
No, I don't think anybody, at least I know I never did, and I don't know anybody that in their right mind would look at you and be like, yeah, bro,
Nah,
you
a
should be
lot-
able to run 26
No,
miles.
a lot of people say
no
that. A lot of people
problem.
think that.
Exactly.
They're morons.
It takes
Yeah.
work.
It
How
takes
far
work.
do they run?
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
It takes work though.
Yeah.
But even some of the workouts that we were doing while we were in there, we were talking about the vibe, but your muscle memory was used to that shit more than I was. He had me doing these things where we were, what was it, a squat press with the bar,
Yeah.
put that over your head and then go on your tippy toes, get the calves exploded
Yeah.
and stuff. There were some things that were fine for me, but when you saw me tired, it was just
Different
you could look
exercises
as
than you used to.
good as possible, and you're gonna work out. You're still gonna get tired,
Yeah.
dude. It's not you're just.
I'm still waiting for
other
it to
people
stop
think that he's
hurting.
gonna.
Still
Yeah.
waiting for it to stop hurting.
It's never gonna
he
stop
says it's never
hurting.
going to stop. He also told
we elevate from there.
Yeah,
There you
well,
go.
he tells
Never
me
stop.
I'm here to hurt you, not harm you.
No harm.
And
Which is ultimately going to help you.
yeah, and but I asked you about the vibe because when we had this conversation the other day.
But he's never seen Asbury, so he can't.
I have seen
No,
Asbury.
I said he
no,
hasn't.
but
though.
I have.
All right, go ahead.
I
the vibe?
love the vibe in Howell, right?
Yeah.
I think, forget about when I'm actively training there. Just walking in, it's bright, it's
Yeah.
airy, it's welcoming.
Yeah.
Not that Asbury has a bad vibe, but I sometimes think you don't see the value you have in Howell.
Nah,
That studio, that training facility is incredible. In
No,
my
he
opinion.
probably
That's my
sees
baby.
it, and that's
That's
why
my
he
baby.
went and
Nah,
brought it to
Asbury's
another
your
town
baby,
too.
and
if he didn't
elevated
know the
from there.
vibe,
Elevated from there.
if he thought the vibe was whack in Howell, he would have no motivation to go to
Yeah,
Asbury.
he keeps talking about how great the vibe is there.
I had
I'm
to
a Howell
elevate it.
boy.
You
I had to
had to
elevate it.
create that vibe, though.
You're doing a good job over there too. I mean, I was there. I got to go there Saturday. We did the 5K for Meet the Need, which I was going to run, but I wound up walking and talking to actually Pizza Pete's father the entire time. But I was just there to finish, support my boy. We get to go to Leaks Fitness in Asbury for a little bit of a luncheon, I'll call it. I got to have some frittata, which Robbie couldn't pronounce.
Frittata.
And I got to see the facility, and it is a beautiful facility. He's
I'm
got
sure.
these incredible lights that are like a custom design. He's got these great dumbbells with the Leaks Fitness logo. You do have the vibe there. You do. I'm busting your balls when I say it, but you have it. And, you've made a sustainable model in the sense that the truth is that business is you. You are the Leaks in Leaks Fitness. And your passion is what counts. You could be in Ohio. If Robbie Leaks is there, that's what people are coming for. And I think at your age, you have to realize the value you bring is more important than the environment you're bringing, because you're dictating the environment. And that was something I always struggled with. I didn't realize what I brought to the table personally. So, like, you try to compensate with nice things or a nicer facility. I don't know. Focus on the experience, because you're the experience. Just like Pete's the experience, whether it's in a wrestling room or getting a mortgage. People call Pete for Pete. I called you for you. I found you because I saw the videos of, it might have been Craig Watkins posted that the boys were at Leaks. And that's how Mason's team, that's how I found Leaks.
No
and I
way.
started doing some research, and I fell in love with everything I was reading.
Yeah.
I walk in the door. I sign up for the assessment, this, that, and the third. I didn't read the email that came after it. So now I show up and I'm in like sweatpants or whatever. And he's like, hey, did you bring shorts? I'm like, no. He goes, well, we're doing assessment today. I had to walk around this place in my fucking boxers.
Oh, snap.
While Robbie gets so detail-oriented, and this wasn't just with me. He does this for all of his clients. He's measuring, checking movements, degrees, angles, this. It was the most awkward thing ever.
In your boxers.
In my boxers. He's drawing lines on me, circles here, circles there. I'll be honest. I don't know how I went back. It was intimidating to me coming off the couch, essentially. You know, I had been in shape previously in my life, but now I walk in there and I'm like, bro,
So now
we were in rough shape.
Would you say I was doing too much, or would you say
No, you did. You did.
What was intimidating about that?
I just got off the couch, and now here I am. I'm walking in. This guy's assessing me like a professional athlete, which he does train professional athletes as well. I see them in there. Far from it. So now, for me, it was a little intimidating, but now, following through with the program, and I knew at the time that I was there for that.
Yeah.
I was there for that level of professionalism, dedication, and accuracy. Assess, correct, and train, right?
Yes, sir.
We assessed, we're correcting, and we're training at the same time.
Yes,
so
sir.
I needed that, but it was intimidating.
So, Billy, how long after you had your health scares did you end up going to Leaks?
So last August, they thought I was going to need open heart surgery based on my triglyceride levels, which were off the charts and repeatedly off the charts. I clear from all of that, and I'm discussing with the doctors how I need a little bit of a reboot. Now I have every genetic risk factor that my father has. And I know that based on my family history, I'm probably going to suffer in my 60s, and hopefully I break that cycle now. But I get cleared finally. That was August that they thought they were going to actually have to crack my chest open.
Golly.
We do a ton of testing. I failed the first series of progressions, and every test with a cardiologist, you start with one, then there's a series after every time you fail something. So we get to the point where I get you're going to be okay. We're going to deal with this. You don't need surgery. 6 months later, I get like actually fully cleared to go on and do what I want to do now and get back to being fully active. I wind up finding Robbie. Fast forward, we get the assessment. We're working. In June, I get sick. I wind up in the hospital. I come home. I'm back to Robbie the next week. Now, I had a really bad case of pneumonia that really affected my breathing. I was unaware I had it. I was in the hospital. You saw me right after I got out, but I couldn't breathe. When I came home, I could not breathe. And that probably went on for about 3 weeks. So now I was lucky that heart issue cleared. I'm in with Robbie. We went over my health concerns. He puts a program together. Now I'm in the hospital. I come out. I'm down on myself. I can't perform. As dumb as crazy as it sounds, I was in the hospital a few days. I come out and I cannot breathe. My lung capacity was gone. Robbie worked with me. We scaled down the workout and we built back up.
He made it in.
He made it work. He just gave me the tools to do it.
So how did you guys, were you guys talking together, like, were you honest with him? Like, dude, I was just in the hospital. I can't breathe for shit. And then, like, so how did he respond to that? He's like, all right, all good.
We're taking it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
Hey,
because you could still take it easier or easy and still get the mental clarity, still get the pump. And like, you're all right. I think a lot of people, the reason why I'm asking, because I think a lot of people think that they need to go in day one, they need to max 300 out to get a good workout. And it's like, no.
I will tell you, I swear I was going off the intimidation. A lot of people come up to me, they first walk into the facility, and they'll say, oh, let me get in shape first, and I'll come back to you. I get that. I get that a lot.
And I could have said that.
Good luck with that.
Like, you know, now prior to me walking in, what I did leave out was I made sure I got cleared. I had an LA Fitness membership that I didn't use ever.
A lot of people fall into that category, by the way. But I had a lot of different of these bigger chains, which is
it's affordable enough that you don't have to. That you're not super concerned about it. But I had the membership for years. Like you said, I fell in that trap. Dr. Pinellas clears me. You can go back to full normal activity, exert yourself, do whatever you want. All right, cool. Now I'm up and out of the house at 5 a.m. every morning. For 30 days, I did it to prove to myself that I was able to commit to Robbie's program. So I'm at LA Fitness every morning at 5 a.m. I'm going as hard as I can, training there to prove to myself. So I worked up the courage to come into him, but I needed to know that I could do it and commit to it. So when I walked in, I was intimidated, but I knew I had the commitment in me. I had just proven the model to myself.
Good.
I could have walked out and said, let me keep going to LA and figure it out. But I know I wouldn't, where I am today, which is leaps and bounds from when we started, I wouldn't be there. And I just had all my blood work redone. My blood chemistry is far better than it's ever been.
Amazing.
I still have a lot of concerns, but not nearly the concerns I had. Now, a lot of that has to do with the physical activity. And I'm not saying the strict diet that he has me on, because it's not like he's sitting there making me eat whatever, but the education that he's provided me as to nutrition. And every day I learn something different from him. And I've even said to him, like, I'm not trying to make it like I'm in chemistry class learning how to feed my body. Just tell me what to eat and I'll do my absolute best to follow. And that's where we're at today. And like I said, I just had blood work. The doctors are shocked how improved my numbers are. And I got a lot of that to thank him for. But for my physically, it's been great. Mentally, it's provided a lot of clarity, too.
Well, I'm glad. I was actually going to say, do you have mental clarity? Because going back to Seidenberg, when he was talking about when he first started on his journey of self-improvement, that he was still kind of partying, but he was reading. He was working out, but he was making, he wasn't eating right. Yeah. And when we talked about these hard thoughts that'll come into our mind, we said to him, like, hey, have you ever had these crazy thoughts that we talk about? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I can't really pinpoint the time, but I could tell you I was eating like crap, I was drinking a lot, and I wasn't I wasn't treating my mind and my brain right. So that's why I was going to ask
I'm dealing with the stress a lot
the
different.
Healthy stuff, if the better eating you think has had a direct correlation.
150%.
Good.
150%, and there's a couple factors to that. I think the diet has improved my mental health, just in the thoughts and balance that I have, talking with you. And especially, I spend 3 days a week with him. We do a lot more than train physically. I've gotten to know Robbie really well. We've gotten really close. And I genuinely appreciate that. I wouldn't have expected that to come from my trainer, the relationship that we've built. But he's feeding me knowledge for my physical, but my mental health as well, because if I'm going through something, I walk in there and he knows, and I feel bad, my phone will ring 10 times while I'm in there. Sometimes I have to take it, sometimes I don't.
Yep. The times I was in there, shit was blowing up.
It's the mayor.
But he's there, I'll walk in stressed and I'll be dealing with something, and we'll take 5 minutes and we'll just sit and he'll kind of calm me down. And I appreciate that. Like, my therapy session with you weekly here, I also get a little bit with him too. So, Dave was talking about going to a therapist, and I said that it kind of, for me at this current point, isn't successful for me. what is successful though is this at this point.
And that's really what we try to get out there. Like, try to figure out what works best for you.
Yeah.
You know, to find your peace.
There's no one size fits all for any of this. And anybody that tells you there is probably is lying to you or isn't comfortable enough to say that they've had struggles that they couldn't overcome. I'm finding my recipe for success with sitting down with people that are not afraid to be honest with you as well, because you got to be honest and vulnerable, and somebody's got to ultimately let you know that that's okay because they've been in that position as well. Like, I know we've discussed it. You've had ups and downs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, Billy is one of those clients, like a lot of clients, they walk through the door. We train, we get right to work. As soon as Billy walks through the door, he's asking me how I'm feeling. I'm asking him how he's feeling. We're talking for a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's helping me out with a lot of things also.
That's amazing. So you were saying that you played football in college and stuff, and like, so you've obviously like put yourself through a lot of different workouts and stuff. But like, what really popped into your mind, or like maybe another person, like what put it on your radar that you're like, oh shoot, maybe I could actually like train people for a living?
All right, so when did it start? So I was in college. My wife is great, by the way. So she really started this whole thing. I'm gonna be honest with everybody else with that. So playing college football, I've been an athlete my whole life. Playing college football, I want to say freshman year. I've had knee problems my whole life. Freshman year, went up for a vertical jump, came down wrong, and dislocated my kneecap. And this happened before. But was it freshman year or sophomore? Sophomore year, I'm sorry. So freshman year, played, same thing. Sophomore year, came back, great as ever. Went up, vertical hop, came down wrong, dislocated my kneecap. From then, I gained like maybe 40, 50 pounds. I was overweight. I wasn't in shape. I had that
mental state too, I'm sure.
100%. I was dating her at the time also. And I was like, I'm not feeling good right now. At the same time, my uncle's battling some health issues as well. So I'm trying to get myself back. And I'm starting to research. I'm starting to read up on things. I'm also in the school exercise science major.
Oh, cool.
So I'm researching.
but you were into fitness prior to this.
I wouldn't say I was into fitness. I was doing it.
It was like a part of his life since he's a kid.
When you're an athlete, that's all you know. That's what you do, right? So, but once I got injured and I was really out for the season, that's when it was like, you know what, let me do something with this. At the same time, while I was getting myself back in shape, my wife was like, you know, maybe you should start a social media. Maybe you should start Instagram. And I'm like, I do not do social media like that. She's more outgoing than me, right? You met her before, so she's real outgoing. I'm the quiet one. So she starts me a social media page, starts me an Instagram. From there, it starts to kind of take off. I'm just showing my journey. That's it. Cool. I ended up getting certified. I ended up training athletes while I'm in Virginia in school. I get home from school on winter breaks, summer breaks. I'm training athletes, and then I also start training the general population as well, because I'm like, you know, let me not just train the athletes, right? Let me train and let me change someone else's life that's not an athlete, right? Yeah. So from there, it started getting bigger and bigger. I came home. I graduated early. Came home. I was renting space in the facility, training clients. She went out of business. I stepped forth, and ever since then, just went up.
History.
Yeah.
So now, with the support of your wife, or let me rephrase, without the support of your wife, do you think Robbie Leaks and Leaks Fitness is where it is today?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't put myself out there like that.
So that's kind of the point I wanted to make, right? So we could all sit here, and we're men. Me and Pete have talked about it. We got years of evolution that tells us we're supposed to, you know, be hunters and we're supposed to be the man. But you got to find the right spouse, because the wrong woman, you could have been standing next to the wrong woman, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she picked you up when you were down, and that's big. Yeah. She helped you become the guru you are today.
Yeah.
Where else do you think you would have ended up? Like, do you think you would have stayed like with it? Well, I'm asking kind of because like a lot of people get majors and fall into different things. Do you think you would have stayed within the nutrition or health science or some type of field like that? Or maybe you would have become a football coach.
Yeah, maybe.
Damn, that would have been fun. Did you have Davies while you were at Howell, by the way?
Yeah, I did Davies.
Cool. You guys were on some good teams too, I think, right?
Yeah. No, my original goal when I went to college actually was for physical therapy. Right? Okay. When I opened up the facility, I was actually a physical therapy aide as well at the same time.
Okay.
And I do a lot at one time. Right? At the same time, also, I was going through the state trooper process.
Oh, wow.
And so I was doing a whole lot.
So
Yeah,
what happened there?
Well, on which one?
State police.
I stopped everything. I went all in on the business. That's it. So
I'm thankful.
Dude, that's
you
a
did.
big that's a big
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
that's a big time play.
Yeah.
It's a big time risk
Yeah.
in a sense of like
Yeah.
at least you know what you're gonna get in the state police.
But you bet
and
on yourself.
yeah, 100%.
that's awesome.
That yeah.
And at
That's
least
awesome.
in my experience, your physical therapy background has benefited me significantly. I mean, I don't want to sound weird, but your hands are on me for 15 minutes a day in the beginning there, working me
Yeah.
out and
That's
trying
awesome.
to get me where I need to be. And you understand how my body works and what it needs and how it operates.
What
So-
about Zebo, bro? Like how did Zebo end up in there? Did you always have a chiropractor?
No, Zach, when did he come in? I'm going to say he's been in there for about 2 years now. He graduated, he went to school down in Georgia, actually. He came in. We've always been, we went to school together, so we've always been
Yeah,
tight.
I didn't realize your dad told me on Saturday that you and Zach, I didn't realize you guys grew up like a street away from each other.
We always grew up with each other. We were always doing
Nice.
it. Obviously, high school, you drift apart away from other people.
Yeah.
We reconnected after school, after college. He came home. He was doing his thing in the facility for a little bit. But I love his vibes. Like I said, vibes are everything, right? So I love his vibes. I love what he's about. He's a professional, so he's in with us.
He's a solid
He's a
dude.
great
Yeah.
person. I've known him from like the wrestling days back in the day. Is he around your age?
Yeah, we're graduating
Okay.
the same class.
Yeah, so him and I are basically 10 years apart, but you know, in the youth rec programs and stuff, like you could be, you know, older and somebody's younger. So like we were always kind of around each other over the years and like knew about each other, and the wrestling community is small. And then fast forward, he started coaching at Howell. So then we were coaching together, and like, dude,
And
I
you
saw
actually coached with him.
yeah, him and I coached
Because
together.
I was going to ask if you actually ever coached him.
I may have while he was in high school and I was kind of helping out
Yeah.
while I was in college and whatnot, but him and I were legit on the staff together every single day.
That's pretty cool.
It was awesome, dude, because he's one of those guys that he would grind out with the kids, and like I love that role. And like a lot of coaches in a lot of sports like to like lean against the wall and just yell at people, and like Zach's like hands on, and like that was my style too. So like him and I just vibed right away. We had a great staff back in those years, great vibes, a lot of wrestling success, a lot of good kids. But it took guys like Zach to be young, approachable, more than just wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, and that was always what I saw in Zach, was like more than just wrestling.
He's a
Like,
good guy.
You could tell he cared about
Yeah.
these kids' well being, you know, off the mat. So yeah, man. Anytime I go over there, I see Zebo. He just gets me hyped.
I end 2 days a week after my session with Robbie. I sit with Zach.
Yeah.
And this is another reason why Robbie's not here to talk about leaks. I just wanted him to talk about his life experience and most importantly running the marathon. But for me, I got to talk about it. I finish with Robbie. I sit down with Zach. And Zach's chiropractor. My body's a little fucked up. Years of trauma. I was a 3-sport athlete, whatever. And I've had injuries that I didn't let heal. And Zach is really good, but Leaks has given me a multifaceted attack to cleanse and heal my body. And it works for me. So you've put those pieces together. Now, when Zach started working with you out of there, was that something that just came natural for you? Because was it a natural fit?
Yeah, that's that. Like I said, I know what he's about. I know his vibes. It wasn't even a question. He didn't even have to ask me. It
Because
was
it's a great situation for you to offer that to your clients as
It
well.
is. Selfishly, I want you to put a cold plunge there.
in there.
Yeah.
I would love to. I
Like a
mean,
sauna.
The next facility.
yeah,
both.
yeah. So
Or both.
it was the plan for the AP facility. But
was it?
We're gonna get there though. We're gonna get there.
All right,
But,
all right.
Yeah, that ain't a sauna. So
What's your position on the cold plunge?
what do you mean?
How beneficial do you think it is? Pete raves about it. Dave Seidenberg sat here last week, told us about all the dopamine you get from it and how incredible the benefits are. I don't know if I could do it, man. I could turn the shower cold and I could deal with that for like 30 seconds and sit
Okay.
there.
What'd you just say?
I could turn
No,
get
but
in the
before that,
shower.
what'd you say?
I can't do it.
I can, can't means won't, right?
That's it.
You can do it.
Can't means won't. Yeah.
So it all depends why you're using it, right? So some people use it for mental reasons. Some people use it for the physical reasons. Growing up, like I said, being an athlete, it's always been a thing, right? You've been
It
an
has.
athlete, you've been sore. It's just now it's so mainstream in social media that it's like a, what do you call it? It's something that it's the cool thing to do now.
It's like a fad for sure.
All right, fad. That's
it
the
has
word I was
been
looking
around for a long time. I first saw it and utilized it when the Ultimate Fighter show came out. I was still wrestling in college, and those guys were doing it, and they were explaining why they were doing it, and I was like sucked out, losing mad weight. I wrestled 157. My natural weight was like 185. So I was like physically exhausted every day, minimal water, minimal food, grinding out, 3 workouts a day. So I would do it back then.
Yeah.
Singular focus on the physical component.
But now you have a different meaning for it.
Now it's the mental.
Yeah, so it's all depends. If you ask me a whole bunch of different questions, it all depends why you're doing something.
Right.
If you know why you're doing it, then there's no issue with it, right? I have an ice barrel at my house. We're sponsored by Ice Barrel.
Nice.
I don't use it during the wintertime. I hate the cold.
Yeah.
Summertime, I'm in there every day.
You guys were just talking
bro,
about that
that's
before.
what I'm saying. Summertime is easy, baby. Winter.
Yeah, wintertime, like it's not, don't get me wrong, like after marathon, I got in there.
Good.
It was cold, I got in there anyway, but I'm not waking up in the morning and getting into it in the wintertime. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna be one of those guys on social media and recording in that. But summertime, that's my thing. I get into it every morning or an evening.
Good.
Like I said,
Now, how long will you spend in it?
7-10 minutes.
That's aggressive.
He's an aggressive guy.
How long are you in it, Pete?
3 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 to 5.
Again, it depends.
And Pete, in my mind,
it depends
is
why you're using it,
crazy.
though. Yeah, but he's getting in it for mental purposes, right? I'm spending 7 to 10 minutes in it for my body.
For the physical.
Right? I don't necessarily get in there for my mental clarity,
Yeah.
right? It is great for mental clarity, but I'm getting in there for my physical reasons.
Well, now that you said that, let me ask you, what do you do for some mental clarity and to find that little bit of
Talk
peace?
to you. No,
That's a scary place.
I'm telling you, when you walk into my doors, I find peace in that. We talk.
I like
Bro.
that.
I appreciate that.
That makes me feel good.
You know, Robbie just said finding peace, not to cut you off, Robbie. But Robbie just said finding peace. And the more people that we're talking to on a daily basis about self-improvement, getting off of substances, getting off of alcohol, like whatever it may be, so many times it resorts back to finding peace.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're removing yourself from the peace for what you think is helping you find peace, if that makes any sense. So like maybe it's the booze, like
Yeah.
finally I got some peace after work, you know. But then like that's not actually, it's finding a moment of peace, which tomorrow hurts more than the peace was
It's
worth
that
today.
anxiety, right?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. But I just thought that was a good point, saying like find that peace. And I think the peace looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
I think it's just like determining what your peace looks and feels like, and kind of what gets you there in even just a short window of time.
Yeah.
Every day, or as much as you can. Those Tuesday, Thursdays don't sound all that peaceful.
Tuesday and Thursdays are I get out, I walk to the beach.
There you go.
Like I said, when we're in Asbury, I'm in Asbury facility. I walk to the beach
Is that
Tuesday and
like
Thursdays.
a correlation to me coming Tuesday and Thursday?
No. That continues my peace.
There you go.
I do that right before.
At least
I see
I
you.
break it up in the middle of the day, give it to you a little bit.
Nah,
sure.
but I know people who run 30 miles a day for that. That's their therapy. It's not my therapy. That's not peace for me. But I do work out daily, right? I'm not gonna lift weights every single day. I'm not gonna go for a long run every single day, but I'll go for a walk. Like I said, I'll stretch a little bit. Whenever I'm doing something physically, I ride a lot of quads, dirt bikes.
There you go.
That's my peace.
There you go.
All right.
Now, do you find exercising still to be therapeutic for you, even though
yeah.
it is your business?
Oh yeah, 100%. I will say, I like to be left alone when I'm exercising, but besides that,
I also like to be left alone when I'm exercising, so
I'll give you the key if you want.
He's serious about that, and you are not left alone because you're with him, and then sometimes you'll invite me. I can relate to him on
I
that
love having
because
him push me.
I like to work out by myself.
See, honestly, I think for me, you being there especially, Robbie has to be there with me. You come, now I have to perform. I cannot let Pete down. Pete has now come here. I have to level up. You leveled
Do you
me
ever
up.
think that if you were slacking, I would be let down, dude?
No,
I'm
but I
freaking
think that you
sweating,
would. I think if I was slacking, you would put me in my place and tell me to pick it up.
Hell no, dog.
Bro, I've
You're
seen
on
you do
your
it.
mission. I'm
Nah,
doing my
but-
own thing.
but I will say,
but it's
You
a
were
group.
outworking me a few
but it's
times.
a group effort, right?
Yeah,
if
it
I'm
is.
sitting there dogging it,
Yeah.
you're gonna pick me up just like he does.
Yeah.
Same thing though, like vibes, right? He may see you doing something, and he's gonna have to try to do it better.
That's true.
Right? So like, it's me too. So like, I'm real
I was
competitive.
feeling that too.
I'm
I
real
was.
real competitive. So like, Yeah, I like working out alone, right? But if I'm with somebody and they're saying, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, let's go get it up later. If I run with Kyle, I don't know, you know Kyle?
Yeah.
You know Kyle. All right, so.
Kyle Lindemann,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So he likes to run, right?
He gets runner's high.
Yeah,
I know that for sure. We talked about that
so
at Leaks.
So I ran with him a lot, right? So I'm competitive to where I may see him. He pushes me because he's running so much faster than me pace-wise, right? That I may be competitive and want to push myself even more with him, right? So I like to run alone. I like to lift alone, right? But if I have somebody with me bringing up those vibes, bringing up that energy, right? I do enjoy that. I find peace in that.
Yeah, I had a hard time with the comparison stuff. Any short experience I have with CrossFit, it was like a mental, like I had good stuff. Like I'm picturing when we had those like circular discs on our feet and we're kind of like bear crawling at your spot or like whatever it was. Like,
we were doing push-ups.
Like, whatever it was.
Push-up and then suck our legs in.
Yeah, and like that was like, it was, not awkward, but it wasn't emotion that I'm in all the time. Awkward. And I'm like hurting, and then I'm looking over at you, and you're like cruising. I'm like, oh, I better suck it up. But like with the CrossFit scene, like I went in there. My friend Nick has a great facility in Freehold, and a guy that was my wrestling coach was smoking me, bro, in every activity, dude. And this guy like used to be a big guy. He's got to be 30 plus years older than me. He's probably a grandpa. And I was hurting bad, and I'm looking over at him, and I'm like, damn,
but you got competitive.
And I'm like trying to keep up with him.
It leveled you up, though.
It probably did level me up.
In the marathon, I want to say there was a whole lot of grandpas and grandmas that passed me. I had to keep moving.
Now, how did that affect you mentally?
It was difficult.
That'll take the wind out of yourself. Well, grandma comes cooking past you.
You come into this like, all right, you're a trainer, so there's that level of expectation. Yeah. Not that you should be running
already
a
look physically fit, young. Like,
and here comes the Golden Girls zipping past you.
They're moving. Those marathon runners are different.
You feel like me when I'm in the gym and then I see Emily crushing it in there.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm doing nothing.
Marathon runners are different.
But like the visual that I have in this marathon right now is like very similar to life because you're trying to accomplish your goal. Whatever is happening around you, those ladies could have run 50 marathons for all you know. They can run 20 miles a day. You don't. So
experience.
Why are you even worried about, not that you were worried, but like the human brain is like, oh, Alice over here just smoked me. I suck. And it's like, no, you don't, dude. You have basically just started running.
Yeah,
like
but would you say that's good or bad though?
I think it depends on how you're handling it in the moment. Like, I think it can be bad if these older people, and I've been in these races where the older people are boogieing past me, and it's a short thing for me, and then I get back onto like, okay, this is my race. This is what, like, I'm here to finish. I didn't come here to beat friggin' George, the 60-year-old. He smoked his division. I'm like, he's not even in my division, so I can still kind of be the guy who looks around my age and try to find him.
That's true, too.
Now,
I asked that because like me and Kyle were running also like a couple weeks ago, man. I'm not a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And you're running around the reservoir, right? You usually see the same people, right? And you may be running this direction, now somebody else running that direction, and they're moving, right? They're hauling. And you may be running 10 miles and they have to run only 1 mile. They might be running 1 or 2 miles. Right. So it's like, it gets into your head. And like I said, I'm competitive. I see them moving. Oh, no, I got to push the pace. I gotta get a little faster. But then I got to sometimes tame myself down and say, no, they may be just running a few miles where we're out here running 10 to 15 miles.
That's it. And like, if you picked up your pace based on somebody else, you might not have been able to finish the 15.
Yeah.
They would have been freaking hauling your ass out of the reservoir and helicopter because you went too hard.
Do you think that competitive edge takes away from the therapeutic side of exercise for you if you're not by yourself?
Yeah. The marathon, if I could go back to the marathon, I would take my headphones out. I would get more into the vibes of everybody around me, right? Really? I'm in my own lane. I'm moving, right? I told you I blacked out until I cramped up, but I'm not worried about anybody else, right? And I would take that back, and again, I might do this again, right? But I would get more into the crowd, get more into the atmosphere.
Yeah, that was the first thing I started asking you about when you first came in here. My two buddies ran it. Mikey Corley, who's going to be a guest, and his brother Timmy. They ran it in honor of Timmy's a mentor, a guy that he worked with for a long time. They ran it in his memory, and Timmy was a guy who went from couch to marathon. his brother Mikey does Ironmans, triathlons, and everything else like that. So I was following your journey. I was following Mikey's journey. And Mikey had a few moments. That's why I was asking, did you get hyped when you saw your family? That was great. You saw him at the finish line. But Mikey had a few moments of time where, like, his wife and kids were at one spot. And I don't know how they made this happen in a subway or what they did, but he saw them, like, twice. And you could see on camera, like, you see him coming from far and he just has, like, a pissed off look or whatever. And, like, you see his whole mood change when he sees his family, and you could noticeably see him running faster.
Yeah.
And then it was, like, the same thing. Like, you see him, he's kind of mean mugging. Then he sees his family, he lights up with joy, and he starts going even faster. That happens to me at these small little 5-mile races with my family.
Did you just say small little 5-mile
Yeah, small little 5 race.
Yeah,
because I don't want to think that there's any comparison between 5 miles and 26.2.
That's still,
but I could still get that juiced up.
Yeah.
Even when the crowd is just going wild in these certain areas, or like Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run comes on or something.
See,
like,
I gotta give you guys
ask,
credit though.
to your phone, was your music
couldn't
the
even hear
same
it.
in your practicing?
I couldn't even hear it.
Oh wow!
I had my headphone in. Like I said, I'm in the zone. I didn't want to touch anything.
Yeah.
I didn't want. I had my phone in my hand. I didn't even want my phone in my hand. I should have threw it out the way.
Right.
But I couldn't even hear anything. The crowd, besides on the bridges, the crowd's so crazy. You can't hear anything.
But you were saying that bridge was pretty quiet anyway.
Yeah, the bridge was
Everybody
quiet.
was kind of.
Yeah, I was. Like I said, I cramped up and I was pissed off, but we kept moving.
There you go,
You
man.
finished.
But I just had my headphone in. I couldn't hear anything.
So now let's say you have a stressful day. What's Robbie Leake's go-to? Are you going to work out? Are you going to ride quads? Like, what are you doing to unwind?
Stressful day. I'm not home until 10 o'clock at night.
All right. So stressful day to unwind the next day. Where are you finding some balance?
So my balance Saturdays I do not train. Right, I find my balance there. That's when I'm spending the most time with my son. Like weekends, Sundays is when I'm riding the quads. I still work in the morning, but that's the days that I ride the quads. So
you're breaking it up. So
yeah, trying to.
Quads clears your mind a little bit.
Oh yeah. Anything fast.
What about getting in that Hellcat and ripping up Route 9?
And I don't do that anymore.
My son wants me to take your Hellcat out and rip up Route 9.
It's for sale if anybody's watching this.
Nice.
So if you had to give some advice to 18-year-old Robbie Lees, what wisdom have you learned in the last couple of years over your journey that you could give back to a young kid?
18 years old. I will say 18. I don't even remember 18. Where was I when I was 18?
Howell High School,
High
baby.
school? Was I in high school?
Graduation cap.
Just finished.
About to go to college.
It's a long time.
About to go play football.
I mean, I'm not trying to be like cocky or anything, but I'm just different. That I worked so much, so I would say to relax a little bit and live a little bit. Like I worked so much and I did so much. I'm still doing so much, but I'm trying to live a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say I wish I lived a little bit more back then.
Yeah, that's.
If that makes sense.
I mean, you're
Yeah, it does
consistent
make
in that.
sense.
It does make sense because we've discussed that. You got to take those moments to take that breath of fresh air and enjoy what you're doing. Because without that, what's the point of working?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you said that because when I was 18, I was really trying to figure things out. I was just about to be a freshman in college. That summer that I was 18, going into my freshman year of college, I lived in Belmar. I wish I was living a little bit less back then, and maybe working a little bit. I was still working hard and stuff, but I was wrapped up in the buzz and the drinking and the partying, and like I missed out on a lot. Personally, those times,
Yeah, but you're making up for it now, right?
Yeah, no, it's all good. But I think that's a great response though, because it took me 37 years to live in the moment a little bit, Or
Do you
live
find
a little
those
bit more.
moments a little sweeter to enjoy now, since you didn't take that time in your 20s?
Yeah, definitely. I had one of those moments last night that my daughter was laying on my chest. They were having a hard time going to bed, and I was laying in the bunk bed. We have like these full-size bunk beds, and Mason, Carter, myself, and Rowan were all on the bunk bed, and Rowan was laying on my chest, and I just took a few deep breaths, and I'm like, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
everything.
that's the best
what
part.
What more do I need? What more do I need and want? It's right here.
Exploring the time with your kids has been huge for me.
Yeah.
And just being able to enjoy that. Now, it's tough, though, because, like, I'll be cuddling with Rosalie, and here comes Max jumping off the couch on top of me, or Josephine screaming because she wants some attention.
That's why I say fine line between blessed and stress. He
Yeah.
said his relaxing time is hanging out with his son. That kid's 10 months old. He's crapping his pants. He's screaming for diapers. He's screaming for mom. Mom ain't there. It's just you. Like, that sounds cool. Like, oh, yeah, it's my calm time with my son. It's like, yo, that is overwhelming as hell.
Yeah, but I was going to say, even as overwhelming and hectic as that moment
It's still
could get,
peace.
It's beauty in the struggle.
bro, I'm
It is.
holding my kids.
Yeah, what I
and-
say is fine line between blessed and stressed.
Yeah, and I love those moments. And 3 kids makes it hectic, which you know. Enjoy having one while you can. I don't know if you guys plan on having more, but not that it's easy. But once you're outnumbered, bro, it's a game
It
changer.
gets different. So
It's a
I'm
game
already
changer.
going through it. It's gonna be worse.
It ain't getting easier, that's for sure. It ain't getting any
I can't
easier.
believe this guy's only late 20s, dude. He's an old soul.
Very mature.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I resonated with Robbie. We just kind of connected on a maturity level. Like, he's where I wish I probably was at 28.
I was thinking the same thing about myself, dude.
Yeah, and that's not, me trying to pump you up. That's real life, and I've told you that.
Yeah.
You have such a solid foundation. You always pick my brain about business. Like, I got this shit figured out, which I far from do. I'm just putting out fires every day well, and I've told you.
Yeah, but how nice is that for a 28-year-old to have a 38-year-old with 3
great,
kids who's been in business
invaluable.
for a long time that he can
Yeah.
have a friendship with and learn? Like,
Yeah.
you guys were talking about real estate investing that day I was there
Yeah.
a few months ago.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it goes. He provides balance to me. I hope I can provide some balance to
100%.
him.
I told you, Tuesdays and Thursdays, Fridays, you get in there. I'm telling you, you help me out a whole lot.
My man.
And I appreciate that, man.
Yo, by the way, my wife said I look jacked in that tank top, so I appreciate that.
You always look
it was-
I tried
jacked,
to tell her, I'm
bro.
like, it's the biceps, not the tank top.
was it
And
size
she's like,
small?
nah, it's the tank top.
Was it a small?
It looks small, bro. It said large. I thought that shit was a woman's large.
Nah,
though.
you're just built like a real boy. You're
That shit was snug. And she's like, oh, damn, babe. I'm like, oh, all right, you like this? All right, cool. Oh, she
You're-
rocking it.
Petey, you're jacked all the time.
I got the shorts, too.
How,
The
how
dry
short,
fit.
how short are they?
The shorts, I don't think are women's. Those are...
Robbie's big on 5-inch
like at the
inseams.
knee.
Nah, it's
Yeah, I ain't down with that. I ain't
that's
down
too
with
long,
that high
man.
thigh. I
It's
don't.
too
I don't
long.
have like
No.
quads to show off. I try to keep my shit about knee
Not
high.
squatting?
Not really. Not really. I got the 25-pound dumbbells, man. I can't get big quads with
Rep
those.
it
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
All that running probably helps, though.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, dude. That's the only thing we're running. I ain't trying to get runner's bod, dude. You don't have runner's bod.
So, all right. So, nutrition.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's a game changer. The way I eat and the way I was eating, not now. I got to slow down now. But the way I was eating and lifting during, a lot of marathon runners think that you can't lift.
Yeah.
Right? Lifting is going to save your body, right? But 2, like you said, I don't have a marathon. I don't think I have a marathon body right
Hell no.
now, right? So it's the lifting, it's the amount of eating, my nutrition I was doing. I think I want so Billy says he's never going to run a marathon,
Not happening.
right?
Never gonna cold plunge either. This guy.
No, I might do the cold
No,
plunge.
I'm going to make you do that.
Okay.
I'm going to make you do
You
that.
made me do a
See
5K.
if you had one right there, bro. He'd be in there.
You're right.
He made me do a
I got
5K.
one
I
at the-
showed
mine
up.
over there.
I got one at the house, so.
There you go.
But
Good thing you work till 10. I'm asleep by 9.
Sleep by 9:30.
But I think that my future, like this next year, I want to focus on those who have never ran a marathon before and who have a goal to run a marathon. All right. So, like I said, it's going to come down to not just running, what a lot of people think that training for a marathon is. It's going to come down to lifting, strength training. It's going to come down to recovery work. It's going to come down to the
Diet.
mobility. But it's also nutrition is a big part of it.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. How did it go as far as registering and everything? Did you have to register like 6 months ahead or like?
When did I'm trying to figure out how I even
And I'm
got
selfishly
in.
asking that because I was on the couch watching with envy.
With
It
the
just
actual
seemed
race.
friggin' dope.
Nah, it was dope. So I'm blessed to be in a position, like I said, to have some great clients. One of my clients, her father is part of a nonprofit, and they had a space left. I think they had one slot left
cool.
for somebody to get on with them. And it's for the Huntington disease of New York. And I got on with them. I had to fundraise, I think, $3,000. I fundraised about $6,000, $7,000,
God bless.
and it put me on the list.
You did a lot of fundraising in the last month.
I did.
How much did you guys raise for
I'm gonna
MTN?
continue doing fundraising. MTN, every year we feed families for Thanksgiving. So this year, I think with us so far we're around 11,000. We did a 5K
Amazing.
fundraiser last Saturday. So we're every year I want to increase those rates. So
That's
So
awesome,
now,
dude.
Do you find a lot of pleasure in doing like charitable work?
100%.
Because I know for me, the success that I do have, which might not be a ton, but the success I do have, I very much appreciate being able to give back.
Definitely.
Whether it's time or financially, it wouldn't be worth it if I couldn't share that with people.
I think it was easy for us to connect because I'm thinking back to when you went to Casino Drive with Max at the wrestling barn and we first kind of met, crossed paths. But we officially like started broing out when I was doing those fundraisers with the pennies for push-ups, the miles for military, whatever it was, dude. I was like talking to you about it. You were getting amped up, like whatever you need.
I love giving back
with the big check. Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. You guys are both incredible souls. So glad you guys found each other and get to bro out twice a week.
Yeah.
You got Billy,
you could come bro
off
out.
that dad bod life.
Modified dad bod. It's still there, trust me.
Nah.
Yeah. There's so, people need to see themselves every once in a while in the lens that other people see you. And Tommy Russo was telling you how his boss was saying he saw some jack dude and he's talking about you. And
I
you're
still
like,
have my shirt
I got
on,
freaking
so.
dad bod.
Listen, I'm very happy with where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
I would like to make some more improvement and progress.
And we're working.
But I'm good. I'm very content right now. Today I sit here mentally satisfied, physically happy, and somewhat fulfilled. I've got great relationships. I've got 3 beautiful children who, Rosie, I just had her preschool parent-teacher conference at Land Pines yesterday. They said she's the sweetest kid in the class. Now, Rosie's a little shy. You see her. Comes out of her shell once she gets comfortable. By the way, she had a great wrestling practice on Sunday with Johnny Reilly.
Awesome.
So I asked the teacher how she's doing with her shyness, and she said, actually, there's kids in the class that are really shy and play by themselves. They ask Rosie to go over and play with those kids to try and bring them out of their shell a little bit.
Amazing.
And she goes over with the biggest smile on her face and plays so well with others. And that's the kind of stuff today that I will say that I am blessed to consider makes me a rich man. Financially, I might have a couple bucks. I might be broke. It doesn't make a difference. The joy I get from hearing good things about my kids, bro.
It's everything.
Second to none at this point. Second to none.
It's amazing. Think that's it. You guys good with that? You got anything to add, Robbie? We appreciate you
Give us
coming
a
out
close,
here,
Rob.
man.
I'm an
Tell
open
us
book.
something.
You ask me questions. I'm here. Tell you something?
Yeah, tell us something before we go.
Tell you something. We are still taking donations for Meet the Need. Like I said, we have to feed 900 families this coming Saturday, the 18th. When is this being posted?
Dang, where's that at?
This is going to be posted next week.
Next week? Oh, shit. You guys are going to miss it. But next coming up, we're Christmas doing toys. So $25 a family, or a child, I should say. That's going to be next fundraiser for Meet the Need.
And people can reach out to Leaks Fitness.
Yeah, Leaks Fitness, Meet the Need, whichever one you want to donate to or reach out to for more information. That's it.
What can we
Keep
expect
going,
from
my
Leaks
dude.
in the next year?
In the next year, from me or from Leaks?
Both.
Both?
You are Leaks.
I am Leaks, right?
I mean, you're so much Leaks, and I value our relationship so much, and that gym.
Are you talking business-wise? You talking? What are you talking? What are you
Everything.
You asking my next challenge?
What can we expect? What's on the horizon for you? Are you looking to expand your brand? Are you looking to have another kid? What are 3 of your goals for the next year?
3 of my goals. All right, I'm going to take on. I did the marathon, so we're going to start doing MMA. That's me next. That's the next challenge.
Dang.
Are you going to train with Cole?
I might have to.
There you go.
Cole
I
Cameron?
might need a wrestling coach too.
No doubt. You got Zebo,
His
too.
girlfriend tattooed me in Atlantic City.
Oh, no way.
Well, she also noticed I got a Leaks Fitness tattoo on my leg that she noticed, and we started talking about Leaks.
You got to present that.
No, you
I'm
did not, bro.
Oh, I
You didn't
did.
see
No,
You didn't see it?
You better get this boy sponsored.
You didn't see it?
No, but he has a few more things aside from the MMA. What else were you gonna say? And then you definitely show me that.
No, I want to give back as much as possible. So I want to get more into the community, especially around Asbury Park, since we are there now.
Yeah.
Kids, you asking me about kids already too?
Come on.
If it happens,
The people want to know, is Robbie ready for that right now, or do you know that you need a little bit of time to build?
There's no such things as a break and time to build. I don't believe in that. I wasn't ready for another gym. I wasn't ready for a gym. I wasn't ready for a child. It happens.
You gotta deal with it.
I step up. That's
There
it.
you go.
and learn. That's it.
That's it.
That's the goal, just to learn. Something happens, learn from it, keep moving.
My man, it's a good spot to end.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I appreciate
shit,
you.
boys.
Appreciate you.
Good stuff, man. Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
All right. We'll
Was that
see you guys
episode
next
8?
week. You really didn't see this tattoo?
No, bro.